Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 10035 Southwest Choctaw Street here in Tualatin. Located at the front of the house. We're to the left of the doorway. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. Easier landmark, honestly, just to the right of the driveway here. Got the water shut off, big green valve cover box, and then the clean out. 4-inch ABS. I'm going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. It sounds like there's a automatic water shut-off system that's kind of faulty. So water is off to the house currently. Lucky for us though, we're coming in here just after a full home inspection was done. Lots of water's been down the line, and I just checked the toilets. We've got water in at least one, if not two of the toilets. So we've got plenty of water to get this thing done here. We're going to introduce that to the line once we get out away from the house a little ways here. And I was able to bleed off. You can see how the flow line's a little wet there. I did turn the sink on. It bled off some of that water. So we're coming up on a spot here, a low spot in the line. And so, and normally I wouldn't take a look at this and look at it until the line was fully drained. But right now the line is fully drained. So we're getting a natural view of the belly, not an exaggerated one. The belly starts there at 10 feet. Thus far, we are struggling to even get over a 1/4 inch of standing water there. Very, very minor. The only thing that's hung up in it at all is eggshells. Don't put those things down your line. Not so much because that belly is teeny. It's a rinky-dink little thing, hardly worth talking about. Eggshells gunk your pipes up like crazy. Especially your kitchen drain. Anywhere they meet standing water, whether it's minor or significant, they sink to the bottom of it. And what you have there is very minor, but you get some households that, I swear, they put every egg on planet Earth down their disposal. They will gunk your pea trap up under your sink like you cannot believe. Anyway, otherwise, this line is absolutely spotless. Whoever's been living here has done a really good job of not putting cooking oil down the line, grease, any fats at all. It's extremely uncommon. In fact, when it gets this clean, it almost makes me wonder if the line was jetted. It is just pristine. But you've got some films and mildews on the sidewall that do generally take a little bit of time to create. So this, every now and then you run into a house like this where the people living there are just anal about not putting improper stuff down the line. And those people are friends of mine. Love to see that. All right, we've hit the main here at about 60, we're going to call it 69 feet. We're close enough. Thus far, very nice looking sewer line with a tiny little belly in it. We're going to let the water rip here. I'm going to leave the recorder running just so you can see that on camera. You're going to be sitting here watching nothing for a moment. Alrighty, I was able to get one complete toilet flush and 2 halfy flushes there. We're going to let that drain off here for a moment while we go locate the camera head. I'm surprised we have any water running at all still. I'm going to go check to make sure we don't have a toilet that's kind of running, but as far as I know, water is basically off to the house at this point. Alright, it's just about done draining off now. And the reason that probably sat that way for a minute, when you don't have water flowing back into the toilet, the weight of the water that pours back into the tank is often one of the things that helps to shut the flapper quicker than normal. So that kind of explains why that took a minute. I wasn't sure if the water had magically turned back on there for a moment. Anyway, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates on Choctaw. And where I located out in the road there, I mean, it is almost directly in line with where the cleanout's at. Line looks like it just does a pretty much straight shot from the cleanout right up the driveway out to the street. There is a manhole almost perfectly straight out from the driveway. It's probably easier to describe it this way now. Normally, I describe most everything as if you're facing the front of the house from the road. If you are facing the roadway with your back to the house, looking out at the road from the cleanout, the line terminates maybe 5 feet to the right of that manhole, in case you're curious how the line's routed. Again, we still have a little bit of water trickling through here. Like one of those flappers, you just it'll eventually shut, and there's no water to refill its place. But that water you've got moving through the flow line there is moving water. That's not standing there. Anyhow, if you want to keep your line this clean, and this line is clean as can be, keep your cooking oil and grease out of the pipe. Alright, coming back on this little belly here. Alright, so the belly dissipates off at 14 feet. And it is a tiny little baby belly. So and that is one that is eons and galaxies from repair worthy there. That's not something I recommend to fix on. And I mean, not that it's one you should worry about at all anyway. The only buildup in it is a few little scraps of eggshells. There's zero buildup on the sidewalls, and I would not expect to see, even if this line was being abused, I wouldn't expect to see much buildup in that little thing right there. But for reference, I don't even consider repairs, especially on plastic pipe. Bellies in plastic pipe versus older materials like cast iron and concrete are very, very different animals. I don't even consider it till there's at least an inch of standing water. That's with no water running at all for a minimum of 5 feet. Even at that point, it is, especially in a 4-inch diameter line, which is pretty large diameter, it is still almost entirely up to the homeowner as to whether that belly ever manifests itself in the form of a blockage. And by that, I mean abusing the line. And even a 5-foot belly with an inch of water in it takes a considerable amount of abuse on the homeowner's side to get a blockage. So, in a little tiny bit of standing water going back into the house here, it's just as minor, if not more so, than the one on the outside. And I'll write this up on the report. From about the clean out going backwards into the house, about 8 feet, you've got somewhere between a 1/16 and a 1/4 inch of standing water, both of which are far too minor, in my opinion, to require repairs. I mean, and one of the things I use as a metric as to whether I even recommend a fix on a belly, and this is more so on substantial size bellies, if I can't even recommend a few $100 in drain cleaning, I don't jump to let's go tear the driveway out and all that good stuff there. They're just way too minor to require that. The only scenario where you'd ever get consistent buildup in standing water that tiny and minor is if you're putting a lot of cooking oil and grease down the line. Grease and fats harden up when they hit any amount of water at all. They float to the top of it, but they also cool down rapidly. So anyway, we have good flow end to end here. All the pipe we just scoped there is in good condition. Both the little bellies there, the one going back into the house, it doesn't even hit a 1/4 inch. It's about a 1/16 of an inch of water. And the other one's about a 1/4 inch. Both far too minor, in my opinion, to require repairs. And a superbly clean sewer line to boot. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.